Your metabolism isn't the problem, you are. And I know that's not what you want to hear. You want it to be something complicated or something medical or something that's plain and simple out of your hands, because that would be way easier. And I know this because I've coached hundreds of people who were convinced that their metabolism was broken. And every single one of them, without exception, was simply eating more than they realized. And so today we're going to get stuck into why your fat loss is slow and make sure that by the end of this video, you know exactly what you need to work on so you can fix it. So let's get stuck in. Now, first things first, I want to talk about what fat loss actually looks like versus what people want it to look like, because most people want to diet for a week and just all of a sudden see changes, and that's definitely not how this game works. Even for someone like myself, I've been training for over 20 years. I've built a lot of muscle mass over the years. The first 6 to 8 weeks of dieting for me do not result in many visual changes. The visual changes happen at the end of 10 or 12 consistent weeks of dieting. And what we need to be able to do here is rely on the data moving and make sure you're tracking all the right data so you can see things moving along. And that includes your body weight, that includes measurements, that includes visuals, that includes being patient for long periods of time and tracking all this data. I think the optimal rate of fat loss for most people is 1% of their body weight per week. So if you're sitting at 100 kilos, you could be doing a kilo a week. But if you're sitting at 60 or 70 kilos, you should be over the moon and happy with 0.6, 0.7, even 0.5 of a kilo a week. That's slow. If you've got 15 or 20 kilos of fat to lose, it's going to take a long time. So stop expecting to see these changes overnight. Most people accumulate body fat over months and years. Stop expecting to lose it in weeks. Now, the other thing that holds people back massively is the underreporting problem. Now, there's been studies on this over the years. I'm a bit of a people watcher. I've watched people in social situations literally stuff their face and eat way more than they thought they ate. When it comes to underreporting, there's been statistics showing that people have underreported by between 30 and 50%, which is huge. One of the things I get my clients to do in any situation that they're not sure about is the other way around. We actually over-report. So we get you to a point where foods that you haven't weighed out and mapped out yourself, you're actually over-logging, so you create a little bit of a buffer. So try and make sure you're not underreporting things and guessing things. Get those food scales out. It takes seconds to weigh your food. So stop acting like this is hard work. It literally takes seconds to chuck some rice or oats or potatoes on the food scales before you cook them. And if you're not sure what's in there, then overlog it, plain and simple. Make sure you don't underreport it. Weekends are probably the biggest one for most people because generally speaking, when people are at work, this is the same for myself. Monday to Friday, I'm in this office, I'm doing check-ins, I'm busy working on the business. It's pretty easy for me to stay on track with food. Weekends, I'm out with the family. We might be out and about on a Saturday. We might be seeing family. We might be out for dinner, and it gets way harder. But that doesn't mean it's impossible. It just means you need a little bit more of a strategy for the weekend. And try and think of it like a percentage. If you're on point Monday to Friday and then you throw it all out the window at the weekend, it's a pretty decent percentage. That's 30% of your week gone. And so learning to understand and navigate those weekends and create a little bit of a strategy that allows you to potentially bank some calories for the evening. I do this myself. I eat a little bit lighter in the day on Saturdays and Sundays. I delay my meals a little bit on Saturdays and Sundays so I can enjoy a little bit of flexibility in the evening with my family and still stay on track for the week. Now, the next one I want to talk about is NEAT, or non-exercise activity thermogenesis, aka movement outside the gym, because most people these days move like slugs. I've worked with clients that are literally waking up, going downstairs, eating breakfast, working from home, sitting at a laptop all day. Even if they go to the gym after that, coming back home, sitting on the sofa again, and they've done about 800 steps for the day. It's just not enough. The more we move, the more we're going to be able to drive our demand for calories up. So try and get that movement up to a point that's, of course, manageable. It's pointless trying to do 25,000 steps on top of a 12-hour workday. But allocating the time to actually get out and move, waking up a little bit earlier, structuring walks into your day, lunchtime walks, pre-work walks, evening walks, jumping on a treadmill after you've been to the gym and actually bumping that step count up and keeping it consistently higher is going to be your best friend when it comes to fat loss. Now, one of my favorite ones is falling into the trap of I've been good. I've had this one over the years many times. Clients will have 2 days missing from MyFitnessPal on the weekend and they'll go, oh, it wasn't that bad. Oh, I was pretty good. Oh, I didn't log the weekend, but I was good. What does this even mean? We can't use terminology like this when it comes to fat loss because we've got a process that relies on data. It's a process that relies on numbers, and being good isn't numbers. What we need to do is see what actually happened and track that data as accurately as we can. Now, of course, if you've been dieting for a long time and you do actually find that your fat loss has actually slowed down as a result of metabolic adaptation, then maybe there is something you need to do. Maybe you do need to employ a refeed, have a couple of days or even a couple of weeks up on some higher calories so you can then come back down and get things moving along again. However, I have worked with countless people who have got in touch with me and said, Geoff, I've been dieting for the last 20 weeks and I've hit a plateau. Then they sign up, we start tracking their food, we start tracking their steps, we put them into the deficit, we start increasing their steps, and all of a sudden a kilo a week starts dropping off again. Half a kilo a week starts dropping off again. So if you are going to convince yourself that you've hit a plateau, make sure you're actually tracking everything accurately for a decent period of time before you come to that conclusion. And so what's the fix to all of this? Well, the fix to all of this is tracking the data. And that's why if you head to the description of this video, you can download my 4-week tracker and track all these things for yourself over a decent period of time, because most people diet for 3 days, they're not happy with the results, they don't think anything's happened and they quit. The people that manage to get 2 or 3 weeks in, often they go so all or nothing with it that eventually they crash and burn, they binge and they quit. Give yourself 4 weeks, use that tracker effectively and do everything properly, and let me know how you get on in the comments, because I guarantee if you do it properly, you're going to see things move. And if you like this video, then make sure you hit like, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment below so I know to keep making these sort of videos so you can keep watching them. I'll see you next time.